Welcome back to Grinding to a Halt. Solo episode this week. I have a couple that are in the bank, ready to go, but I really did get some good feedback from the last solo episode I did, where I just kind of talked about some things I've been thinking about, feedback I had been getting on the show. So I figured may as well make this a regular thing. Try it every now and then. Yeah, so I'm thinking probably once a month. I'll do this moving forward, so if you have any questions, anything you would like for me to talk about, anything you want to ask, info@grindpod.com, or you could shoot me a DM on any of the socials, grind_pod on just about everything. So yeah, this is going to be another short one. Just going to talk through some things I'm thinking about. So I will be right back. Okay, so something I've been thinking about a good bit over the last couple weeks. And I posted a video about this on my TikTok that will be up as of today, is really just the idea of someone being self-made or bootstrapping. If you've heard any other episode, I talk about those things quite a bit, and my disdain for the idea that success exists in a vacuum of any sort. No one is successful on their own. No one builds anything on their own. Even if you are the person actually doing the work, you have a support system around you that is helping keep everything else going while you focus on building the thing you're building. I think this podcast is a perfect example of that. So it is me reaching out to every guest. It is me scheduling everything. It is me recording and editing, getting clips for socials ready. I do all of that, but it is not truly a one-man show because the show does not exist without the support of the people who come on, the people who donate their time, especially those people in the first few episodes who were coming on to a show that had no episodes live. It was zero proof of concept, and they still donated an hour to talk to me and honestly to help me figure out what the show would be in real time, because I don't really prep for these too much. I just try to keep it a natural flowing conversation. So my approach to them has shifted even over the last 6 or 7 episodes as I found a rhythm and a way to do this. So that is a level of support that they are giving me by allowing me the freedom to experiment with the show, at the expense of their time. Another perfect example. This takes a lot of time to do. Each episode is, 3, 4, 5 hours worth of work between getting everything scheduled, actually recording, editing everything down, and then just getting each episode ready for its rollout. Very time consuming. I'm doing this on top of a full-time job. So there's sacrifices that are being made at home to allow me to do this. My wife is being very supportive by picking up slack on things that, normally I would have done if I wasn't sitting alone in my office right now recording this. So it is a level of support that I need to be able to pursue this, but it is someone supporting me. She may not be doing any of the work to make the show, but the show does not happen if she's not willing to give me the space to do it. So I am very, very appreciative of that. I know it's a big ask sometimes. I spent, 3.5, 4 hours this weekend alone just recording podcasts, which is such a silly thing to say, but it's something I'm passionate about and something I care about. So I'm thankful to have the space to be able to do that. And I think that's a good example of, in the business world, whether it be someone founding a company or coming in early on, yeah, they're doing a lot of the work to get things done. They are laying the foundation, but they're not building the whole house. They still need support. They still need someone coming in behind them framing. They need someone to run the electrical. They need someone to do all the plumbing. You can't do everything. Success is not built by one person. It is built by a team. And so as we see people gain success, and especially people with high visibility in a company, they then start to erase those people that helped them build it. They start to build the myth of who they are, of how they came in and they fixed this problem, or they galaxy brained their way into becoming a billionaire. And that doesn't happen. That is an impossibility. No one earns $1 billion. You take that from the people that actually do the work. There reaches a point where you're not actually doing anything to move your company forward. You are just getting a paycheck for it. And I have massive issues with that. And I think that once the myth building starts, once they start erasing people from the history books of a company, you really kind of sell your soul a little bit in exchange for whatever attention they think that gets them of being a person who built something. It is important to me that as I'm working on things, and in my day job, I do this very regularly. If things are going well, I let my clients know, hey, just it's not me that's doing the work that's making these things happen. I just talk about the work. There are people behind the scenes whose names you'll never know and whose faces you'll never see that do all the work that make your business successful. But I, as the account manager, am just the one who gets to talk about it. I get to brag about all the cool shit that they do. I get to tell you how smart they are and how they are focusing on growing your business in ways that I am incapable of. And I see a really good response to that from the client side. And I think it can be disarming at first. They're not used to someone in a role like mine because my job is a very showy job. My job is essentially long-term sales. So I'm trying to wow them and I'm trying to sell them on me. I am kind of the product for the most part. So for me to come in and say, hey, I don't really do the work. Someone else is doing the work. I'm going to tell you what they've been doing. It disarms them and it builds trust in a way that if I just came on and I just, took credit for everything, it doesn't get the same effect. And I know because I've done it both ways. Early on in my career, I thought I had to be, the key knowledge holder of everything. I had to be the showman who could wow them with how much I had been doing. And when I got away from that idea and when I kind of switched my process up into shining a light on everyone else, it really helped me build better relationships with my clients because they didn't see me as someone who was full of shit. Straight up. They just saw that I was a person who was doing my job the same way they're doing their job. And I'm not trying to take credit for more than I do, but then I also don't shift blame because then I am still the face of the company. So if something's wrong, I will absolutely own it and I will fix it. But I'm never going to come on and just brag about how much work I did for them because that's not what I do. The last thing I want to touch on in this short episode is just finding ways to pursue creativity for yourself, no matter what that looks like. In the episode that came out last week with Jordan Dickerson, we talk about this a little bit, about how selfish it can feel sometimes, especially if you have family responsibilities, to take even just an hour sometimes to go be alone and work on something you find interesting. For him, that'd be sitting down writing a song. For me, it might be coming up with an idea for a new show. It might be sitting here recording a solo episode or editing, an episode with a guest. I find creative fulfillment in those in a very specific way that I don't get in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day job. And it's really important from a mental health perspective for me to have some sort of outlet that, even though it is work and it can be stressful, I'm still creating something that did not exist before, and I'm creating something on my own terms. So I just want to kind of reiterate what Jordan and I were talking about, that it isn't selfish to take some time for you. It isn't selfish to say, hey, I need to go spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week on just me, on something I want to do. If you've got a podcast idea, pursue it. Barrier to entry is low. Super easy to get started. I'm happy to chat about it to anybody who has questions. If you've got an idea for a book you've been kicking around, just start writing it. If there's a guitar lick in your head, sit down and start pounding that thing out. If it's creating something, just if it's sewing, sit down and sew. Do what you need to do to get out whatever creativity you feel is trapped inside there, or to create something that you wish existed in the world, regardless of any sort of monetary outcome. I have been telling everybody I don't expect to make any money from this. This is not about creating some like lifestyle podcast or building some brand. It is about me wanting to have conversations with people I find interesting. It is about me wanting to talk through things I've been thinking about. It is absolutely about me thinking that in the workplace, we do not talk enough about not finding fulfillment in the things we do 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week, and that it's okay that we don't find fulfillment in those, and that we are trying to normalize talking about that. That I want us to feel comfortable saying, hey, I am depressed right now. That's it. If my work seems a little off, if I seem a little off, mentally I'm not in a good place. And there's been a taboo around that for so long, or this idea that that's weakness that I just can't stand. And so I will be vocal about it. And if this is a platform for even one person to hear it and think, yeah, I feel the same, and then they feel comfortable talking about it, then it's been a success in a way that is more important than if a million people a month listen and I can make money off of it. Because although that could improve my life, let's be real, is there meaning in that beyond money? No. So hopefully the things I'm talking about have some sort of positive impact in some way, even if I never see it. I think that's it. I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, it's going to be a short one this week. I would really appreciate it if you made it this far into the episode. If you could go leave us a review. If you could on Spotify, they just have a 5-star system. If you could hit that 5-star, that would be great. Algorithms love when things are rated and reviewed. Hit the follow button, and then I'll link out all my socials in the show notes. All that stuff helps me with visibility. So it is greatly appreciated. And like I said up top, if you have any questions, anything you want me to talk about, hell, if you want to come on and talk, shoot me an email, info@grindpod.com, and I would love to set some time up to chat. So thanks for listening. Back next week with a full episode.